right, let's start off our conversation on the state of the nation. Throughout this week, we're reviewing President William Ruto's 1 year in office and his performance. That's exactly what we'd like to hear from you at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. 1 year down the line, is the country heading in the right direction? How would you rate President William Ruto's performance 1 year in office? And that's a conversation we're having in order. Honorable Dr. James Nyikal, Member of Parliament for Seme, and Honorable Richard Onyonka, Kisii Senator. Special apologies from Honorable Elisha Odhiambo, Member of Parliament for Game, and Honorable Anwa Murada, Woman Rep for Kiambu. They will not be joining us this morning. So I'll start with you, Honorable Onyonka. 1 year down the line, how would you rate President William Ruto's performance?
Honestly, Trevor, my honest feeling is that I think what has happened in the last 1 year in terms of from the time when President Ruto took over, I think everything has been about talking about it. Talking about it means I have seen the promises which have been made. I've seen the visits that the president has made. A little bit confusing me a bit sometimes because I've wondered, is he again starting to campaign? Is he going around because he's trying to implement certain projects? Nothing. I haven't seen much happening. There were issues which were raised. Number one, I think it was the president who had publicly stated that he wouldn't borrow any more money. We've borrowed, we've gone beyond $1 trillion. What was supposed to take place, the issue of inflation and the cost of food. I think because most probably the government is waiting for people to harvest maize from the shambas and make sure that it's available in the market, maybe for the maize to then bring the prices of maize or flour, which is our staple food. If you look at what the success has been, I think the government supplying fertilizer was okay, but it never reached everybody. But when you drive from Kisii, you go to Western, you go to Kitale, or you come back to Narok, come these sides of Central Rift and even North Rift, maize has done very well. Projects going on, I have not seen many. I was surprised the other day. I was looking at what is happening in Kibra. Their house is being built there. I thought that was interesting. When you look at the appropriate housing strategy that the KK Alliance has come up with in terms of setting up these houses that are supposed to be affordable and all that, yeah. We are still at the issue of what is the legal framework on the issue of the land where these houses are going to be built. There are disputes which are coming up. Like I can tell you from Kisii County, the people of Bonchari are livid. They do not want their airstrip to be decommissioned. They are suggesting that the government looks for an alternative option. So the ship, for me, hasn't left. Yeah. And I do not know whether it's because of time or whether it's because of lack of preparedness. But I am caught in between being cautious and waiting to see what happens and observing and hearing and listening to what the president has been talking about his achievements and what needs to be done.
But out of 100%, what percentage would you rate him?
I would leave him at 40.
40?
Yes.
He was in your backyard the other day.
Yes. I would leave him at 40, number one, because he has allowed the country to kind of settle in. In other words, he took in and he has made the country to begin, the government to begin rolling. Is there any major activity that has happened that you can say, yeah, the government is going in the right direction? I haven't seen any. I've seen rallies. I've seen the president still talking about the same thing the things he wants to do and everything.
When he was in your backyard, did anything come out of that visit?
No, he just promised what can be done. So in reality, we are waiting to see what can be done. But if you look at the things which are happening, the strategies that the government came up and presented to Kenyans, I have not seen results yet. So I don't know whether the period is too short or whether this is not meant to work.
Okay.
Yes.
Nyikal, how do you rate the president's performance 1 year in office out of 100%?
41%.
41? Okay. Why?
Just giving him one more. Good intentions.
Yeah.
A lot of talk and apparent hustle to do it, but then you don't see it really happening. I'll start with, say, health. I must. Health. There's a lot of talk on UHC, which has been there.
Which is being launched on the 20th.
Yeah, and now it will be launched on the 20th. And I'm asking myself, when they launch it on 20th, what will happen on 21st? I don't see. I was in my constituency, and I had somebody sick in our hospital, which is a level 3, but being kind of labeled as level 4, because it doesn't have everything. I went to the level 5 hospital at Kisumu, and I still see a lot of issues to do with supplies, which is to a large extent related to KEMSA, more than even the counties. And people who are still not getting what they needed go to buy it. And I say, why are the supplies not coming? And on the other hand, you hear the promise, I am going to sort out KEMSA.
Yeah.
Sorting out KEMSA is not what is happening in those offices. It is what the people see on the ground. So to me, when KEMSA is sorted, I go to all hospitals and all the drugs that must come through KEMSA are there. Then I know KEMSA is sorted. What you have done with the structures there, the people you have appointed, the perception that you have removed corruption or fighting corruption, is good to hear.
Yeah.
But what I want to taste are there drugs delivered in the facility.
But what is the problem there? Because let's stick with KEMSA for a bit, and I know that's what you've touched on. Just yesterday, Irungu Nyakera clearly said, the chairperson of KEMSA, that they have drugs worth 1.1 billion shillings that
which have expired.
Is it that there's no uptake? What is going on?
Talking and not doing. Very different.
Okay.
And I'll come to that if we go on. So now I'm not satisfied in that. And then now, health. There are these 4 bills that are coming.
Yes.
Earlier we increased what NHF should pay, and we are saying we are restructuring KEMSA. Now the 4 bills that are come are 4 totally different things. There is social health insurance. There is the primary health care fund. Yeah. There is the FIF fund. Yes. There's the digital. Now, the digital, we'll see it because it's never been a major area, but it's a new thing because of e-health. Yeah. We'll see what it is, but I don't know how between now and next week, you will implement it. It hasn't even appeared in Parliament. Yeah. So when you are launching UHC in about 3 weeks, I don't see how that is coming there. Now, when you talk of primary health care is to a large extent from level 1, where you are talking of the community, the community health promoters. I don't even know why they're calling them promoters. We started with community health workers. Yeah. Then they called them community health volunteers. Now they're community health promoters.
And Susanna Kumicha was here yesterday, and she said they've employed more than 100,000. Okay, they're focusing now on primary health care.
Yeah, they have. I don't know whether they have employed them, because I'm in the health committee, and I know there's that good plan to get them. I'm not sure that they're already on the ground. Okay. So even if you put them on the ground, I actually wrote that community health strategy, and that structure of the community health worker, the community unit, the number of people in it, and the person who links the community with that. It is a complex thing that we're going to implement it. So it's a good thing. But the other then there is the FIF. FIF is something that died when devolution came. We had it. in 2005, Facility Improvement Fund. It was operational. It was now some counties have done it, some counties have not done it. Some even retained what was there before. Now they're saying it is a new bill totally. But again...
She said that the reason why UHC did not work is because it was not anchored in any law. Yeah. That's why the 4 bills are coming.
Yeah, but there is an NHF Act that we were using, and we said that's what we want. So I'm not disputing the bills. I'm just seeing those 4 bills. Now, when we come to then the Social Health Insurance Fund, I'm waiting to see how it will be structurally different, because it hasn't come to us, but something I'm keen to see.
She said the reductions will be 2.75%, but there will be a capping of 5,000.
That is actually what we discussed. That is actually what we discussed in the finance bill, and actually in other proposals before. So that has been there before. So they are good. And I actually think that they can help. But they haven't even appeared in Parliament. I think maybe today they will have the first reading, at least the digital one and the social health insurance one will have the first reading in the National Assembly. The other 2, I'm told, are going with the Senate, which is good reason. And the Senate and when they met, remember what Governor Minjuku Mutyomi said, that there should have been consultation before this thing went to public participation, because this is a devolved function. If as late as last week, the governors had to be convinced, then you are saying in 3 weeks you are going to launch it. The people who deliver health are actually the governors on the ground, if you leave the 4 or so level 6 hospitals. So again, good talk, looks convincing, but how do you implement it? So I have doubt on that. So I'm still seeing impressing the people as if people are going to vote tomorrow. But are they seeing the fruit on the ground? I walk there, and I'm an old person and I have a hernia, and I walked into a level 4. Am I going to get the operation for my hernia with this card I have? And if I go there, is everything there, or I'm going to buy certain things that I should have come from KEMSA? Now, then let's go to education. The issue has been funding university education. The issue is funding universities. A good idea, we must now fund it per student. That has been there before, but it was not being actively done like that. We were still going to the budget and saying Kenyatta University will get a lot, as it always does, and Egerton will always get little. But good idea. Now we want to tie it to students. So what did we say? We put the amount on the student and said, and gave the student a letter of admission saying, you are going to pay 244,000 in a year, which is a big thing, but don't worry, that one you pay, not paying all of it, you are going to pay just a bit of it, which will determine when you have gone into our website and given us this information. Up to now.
The means testing.
Yeah, means testing. Up to now, I do not know a single student who has got the report from that means testing, which says he's going to pay that. So we call them to Parliament and we say, okay, this thing you are saying, it's taking time. You haven't linked this with the admission date, so there's no time. And they say, no, it doesn't matter. Now let them just go to universities with whatever little they have. With whatever they have. Now, that's the government. And then when they are there, we are going to sort out. When I was in Kakamega, I met some students from my constituency, Masinde Muliro. I asked them, has this thing come of how much you are going to pay? They don't know. The universities themselves are asking, we want money. So there is a problem of good intentions, but I think politics is overriding implementation. So politicians have taken over the talking. I don't think they have given technical people the time to sit down and work the nitty and the gritty details that normally results in achieving something. And that is why I was giving 40-41. Good intentions, good talk about it, and nothing is being achieved. Security, I can say there's a little difference. I must say that Minister Kindiki seems to get things done on the ground he goes a lot about, and maybe there's been some improvement. I may give a little bit about that. Housing, again, good talk. We are going to pay, people are paying.
Yeah.
But they are being launched, you don't understand exactly who is going to get the house. When you start to build the house, in reality, even just in ordinary life, or even when you are doing cooperative, or even if you are doing commercial people in real estate, by the time you start to build a house, you have decided who is going to get in this house, what category is person, the criteria they are going to get it. I don't know, maybe you know who and how they are going to get that.
Now
let's look at let's look at the Hustler Fund.
Yes.
Well, I will see on TV a lot of people are getting it, but it seems to be, maybe I'm not digital enough, but when I was in Seme, a lot of young people came, we want to do this. I say, are you getting this Hustler Fund? Are you going for it? Then they say, no, that thing, it's not working well. Maybe they're not telling the truth, but maybe they don't know. Again, if they do not know how it works, then the question is, you have a good thing, you have put it in place. Do people know? Things will only work if the person who is doing it is like this phone, my friend. I don't know how it works inside, all those things inside. That is for the people who designed and made it. But I know that if I press this button and I get the right number, Honorable Nyonka will pick it. That is what the phone user wants. So that is what the hustler guy needs on the ground. That if I do this, I get the money. That is what the student needs. That my father only needs to pay, if it is 7%, this is the much, I raise this much. That is what the person in hospital needs to know. If I walk there, I'll get it. Good talk, implementation, I have a problem. 41%.
Yeah. Trevor, over the weekend, I attended a friend's function which was out of the country. Then I came through Kitale. I met some friends there, and one of the teachers gave me from his phone a book that class 6 children are learning about sexual education, Christian religious studies. It's unbelievable. If you see the content in what these kids are being taught. When I was asking the teacher, so what are the issues actually? Now, before in the old education system, the books would be bought, whether they were bought by the national government or whether they were bought by the county government network, which existed already. Now, the teacher was saying the books are brought, you don't know who brought them. Nobody knows whether tendering was done. Nobody understands what some of these books have in their content. So there's so much that is going on, and in a way, it is very sad that we don't have our friends here from KK Alliance. I don't know why people are so busy involved in politics, and yet Kenyans actually, Trevor, Kenyans don't want this nonsense of politics in the streets. Kenyans don't even want the president to start campaigning. Kenyans want certain things to function. If the government is talking about building houses and they've started building houses in Kibra, please finish the houses and let us see people move in. Then that becomes our benchmark. That becomes what we start with. We are supposed to be building houses in every county in the country. What is the legal framework? Nobody knows. Like Dr. Nyekala said, fantastic ideas, wonderful ideas, but the issue of implementation in terms of what is actually supposed to be done by the government officers and how they need to implement this. You remember there's been this issue about recruitment, whether it's in the military. That has always been there from all governments. But I hoped that the president would have done it better. I hoped he would have given instruction and said, we are employing 45,000 teachers. We have got 47 counties. What is the possibility that out of these 45,000 teachers, or 35, whatever the number, we can now actually zero in and say every county has a certain number of sub-counties. Can we distribute these amongst the sub-counties? Can we take this to the ward? But everything has been haphazard. You hear some people are being employed, some are not being employed, friends are being employed. There's the question, of course, whether you are loyal enough or not loyal enough to UDA. There's a question about, and this shouldn't be the case, because the people who voted in the last elections, chances are coming the next election, they would have changed their minds. Of course, the issues which Dr. Nyikala has raised, the corruption.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been seeing on social media. I was shocked when I see Ahmed Nasir raising shocking information about what actually is happening in our country. That when you look at what has been happening before and when you look at what is happening now, people were thinking that President Ruto would have come up, he would have been firm, he would have started telling his people what they can and what they can't do. But the general feeling that you have out here is like everything is just moving on as if nothing ever happened.
Okay.
In reality, nothing has changed. You remember we said, and I'm very happy that I'm one of the many people who sat in the studio, and we said it, Trevor, nobody ever consumes fuel on credit. Now, we are expected to raise 800 billion shillings in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Where is the money coming from?
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I have to take a quick break here. Keep your views coming at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. Your review of President William Ruto's 1 year in office. When you come back, we talk about the politics of it all. I see MPs there, Raila, with the fresh visit to State House. These are MPs from their side. They'll tell us what that is all about, right? See you shortly.
They were.